What's going on, guys? Tom Castro from the Tom Castro Shooting Academy coming to you. Just want to get into a little couple of things about the SHOT Show that I just finished. Finally finished up my last day here. I actually was here from Monday to Thursday. I'm leaving on Friday, which is tomorrow. So I want to talk a little bit about my SHOT Show experience, whether I'm going to come back to SHOT Show, whether it was worth it for me to come to SHOT Show, and a few of the things about the show that I liked and maybe disliked a little bit about it. So let's get right into it. So the SHOT Show was amazing. My day 2 and day 3 was definitely much calmer. I didn't run around as much on my second and third day, but it's funny because on my second and third day, I thought I was going to leave a little bit early and kind of go back to the condo and relax. That didn't happen. So I ended up staying both days till 5:30, to the point where they actually were kicking you out of the place. So you could imagine that I'm pretty exhausted after that, since it was basically 3 days of 100 miles. So I think in the morning, I didn't even look to see how many steps I took or how far I walked. But it was pretty far. I do know that because, I don't think I sat down for anything but lunch. So I ended up finding, speaking of lunch, as I went through the next 2 days, I found better places to eat. I didn't have to eat in the casino, or I guess I ate in the casino or in the hotel, but there's a mall in this specific hotel where they had a food court where you could get Chipotle and a couple other different places. So it ended up working out nice where I could actually eat somewhat healthy, even though, you can only eat what you can eat there, and saved a little bit of money. I didn't have to pay $50 for lunch, so that was kind of nice. Walking around, seeing all the people that were there, there was a massive amount of people at the show. There was always someone in a hallway, always someone in a bathroom. The place was packed full of people. And it's kind of funny because at the end of SHOT Show, every day there is 20,000 people walking all over the place. It's like watching a football game or a baseball game, professional, that exits the stadium, and how many people come exiting and running out of the stadium to go get to their car. Everybody's leaving to either go to their hotel or go to another hotel or wherever they're staying at for the event. So it's pretty crazy how busy it is. I don't really think that was a negative thing of the show. That was definitely not something that I disliked or liked. It's just kind of one of those things where there's going to be a lot of people. I didn't feel like it was so busy that you couldn't move around freely. Obviously you bumped into people bumped into you. It is what it is. But, you were running around with a backpack, you'd run into somebody or whatever. But a couple of different things about SHOT Show that I really liked. You were free to walk wherever you wanted to go. You could kind of go to any vendor at any time. I didn't feel like I was pressured to give somebody my information or my card or anything like that. So that was kind of nice. They didn't, I only had a few people ask me about my badge so they could scan it and send me some information. But, those are usually the people you stop to talk to anyway. So that was kind of nice. I would say the thing that I disliked the most about the show was you really, especially the first time, there's really nothing to kind of give you an idea of what to do. You kind of have to go and figure it out as you go. That was kind of, as big as organized as this show is, I never saw any information from signing up to say, hey, listen, go here, check it out. This, kind of give you some ideas on how to start. But that could just be me. They might have sent it, but I just might not have seen it. I also didn't follow the schedule very well. So there was a lot of scheduled things that they had that were on the schedule where, giveaways and things like that. If I would have probably figured out what that schedule was or where that schedule was, and had more time to kind of plan out my whole thing, that probably would have been better off. So that is definitely something that I will make some improvements on next year. And yes, I definitely will be coming back next year. And I'll explain a couple of things about why I came this year and why next year will be just as important for me. But I'll get into that a little bit. So one of the reasons that the SHOT Show schedule was difficult was because there was a lot of things that you missed if you didn't follow that schedule. And what I mean by a schedule is, a good example is like Century Arms. So Canic was giving away guns, t-shirts. They gave away guns every day of the SHOT Show at 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Well, if I wasn't there and that wasn't a specific place that I wanted to go to, I wouldn't have known to go there and sign up and try to win a firearm or win, that was firearms. That's basically what they were giving away. So again, if you don't know that, you don't even know to go over there and check it out. It's not exactly a scheduled thing. I don't think that was anywhere else unless you were at the booth and they kind of mentioned it. I'll tell you some of the stuff that I'll tell you one thing I didn't like about SHOT Show for sure, but that's just, maybe it's just me personally because of the way I am. There was a lot of, I don't want to say, I don't mean to be rude about this, but maybe freeloaders. There were people that were just never looking at the products. They didn't know what the product was, but if there was a patch on the table, a catalog on the table, they grabbed it. It didn't matter what the hell the product was. I actually was talking to a friend that ran a booth, and the lady tried to take their SHOT Show catalog because they were just grabbing everything that was on the table, the patches and everything else. They didn't even realize that that was the SHOT Show catalog and not a special pamphlet. They just were just taking anything they could get their hands on. There were people walking around with carts just full of stuff. And I'm on day 3 of the SHOT Show. So I could imagine that it's probably like that every single day. So it was a little crazy about that kind of stuff. There's some cool things though about that aspect of the SHOT Show. There's some specific places, like I traded a patch with a guy today that was really cool, for my buddy Craig, who I really does collect patches. So I had a patch that I didn't really care about. I just got it for him, and I traded him for a really cool patch. So, but you know, again, he came up to me and said, "Hey, you want to trade patches?" And I got to pick the patch for my buddy or whatever it was. But you know, it's just that whole give me something for free atmosphere is definitely something that happens at the SHOT Show a lot. And it always, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it always bugs me when you know that that's not a double-sided. People are there just to get free shit. So that just was one of the things that I noticed a lot. Not everybody, don't get me wrong, not everybody's like that, but it's definitely, there's guys out there just looking. If somebody had a free pen, they took it. It was like, I'm gonna get my money's worth at the SHOT Show and get some free stuff. So the best part of the SHOT Show was the people. So one of the reasons why I went to the SHOT Show was to create relationships with a few companies that I'm very, very, very interested in working with and hopefully promoting into the year of 2023 and then beyond. My ultimate goal was to go there, meet these people, meet the people that I needed to talk to that I probably wouldn't see at a USPSA match, and have some discussions with them about growing our partnerships together and growing their business as well as mine together. So again, going to become sponsored shooter. And it's I have to give a great big shout out to a couple people here that some of you will know and some of you won't know. So Mr. JJ Rakaza, which most of you know if you're watching this video, if you shoot USPSA, he recommended to go to the SHOT Show for myself because I had talked to him about becoming a sponsored shooter and what my goals were and you know, all those things. And he was 100% correct. The sponsorship, if they come through, after the conversations I had this week, it definitely happened here at the SHOT Show. I was able to meet the right people. I was able to spend time with people that I normally don't get to because we have a match. And the second person is Nils Jonason. So I got to sit down with him a little bit at the SHOT Show. As busy as he was, he gave me some time to kind of discuss, you know, how sponsorship works and how to kind of go about getting sponsored from companies. And, you know, again, there's so many great people in this sport, and I've had a lot of advice from a lot of people, and I definitely take all of that advice from all of those people. But those two guys just recently have really changed the way I approach sponsorship. It's different than the way I thought it was. So you have to look at it differently. You have to approach it differently. And SHOT Show was definitely the key to that for me because I was able to create those relationships that I might not have been able to, and because of the match. The matches aren't the best places to have these conversations because we're busy trying to win, or they're trying to sell their product. The SHOT Show isn't the best place to sit down and have a very long conversation because they're busy making contracts or doing what they're doing, but it is a great place to where you can actually meet the person that you're looking to have that conversation with that you would never meet other than an email. And I hate to say this, guys, but an email is the shittiest way to meet somebody because you don't get to meet their personality. You don't really see their energy. You're literally just reading what they write. Well, anybody can write something. It doesn't mean that they portray that as a person, right? Anybody can write whatever they want and you read it, but you're not actually getting the feeling of how that person is or how they respond to you and so on and so forth. So that was the best part of SHOT Show for me, for sure, was getting to meet those and create those relationships with companies, and not just the companies, but the people that are going, that you're going to possibly be in business with, was the coolest thing, because I got to meet those people and become closer to them and understand maybe what they're looking for and what I need to provide and what they can provide me. So it was really, really nice to be able to do that, because that's not something that I expected to come out of the whole thing. I just basically wanted to meet everybody and go from there, and it actually grew much farther than I thought it would. I've had a few sponsors that I talked to that or hopefully become sponsors that I didn't even expect. They kind of like just fell in my lap because I started talking about what I do. And that worked out really nice. So hopefully it all comes through. We don't know, again, we're still at SHOT Show, and most of the things that happen at SHOT Show are leads, right? They're agreements, and then you work out the details at the end, and hopefully you can figure it out. But it was a great show. It's exactly what I came here for. I came here for business. I didn't come here for a leisure trip. I didn't even care to really go to the show per se, but I'm glad I did, because now I understand, right? I understand this is the industry. This is where a lot of those things happen. It's also at the beginning of the year. So at the beginning of the year, that's, it carries you through the rest of the year. And it was really, really good. I'm glad I came, and I will definitely do this again next year and hopefully grow those relationships and maybe add more relationships into that. I was able to meet a lot of companies that I probably would have never talked to before. I really, really enjoyed the products, making the products, or let me rephrase that, reviewing the products, getting a chance to touch the products that haven't been seen yet to the public, and really kind of get an eye on some of the things that we would use as competitive shooters. So I really enjoyed that part. I definitely enjoy the interview part where I'm interviewing somebody or talking about a product. I really enjoy that part of what I do. I enjoy these videos that I make. Sometimes I talk a little too long, like probably right now, but when I get the opportunity to go to a place like this, there's so much amazing content or amazing things that I would have liked to have seen that someone else didn't video. So I'm going to try to start doing those more often. And I'm definitely going to try to start doing more on the gear that we use. We're missing the videos about competition gear. Most everybody talks about guns, but they don't really talk about how we use them and how much we use them. So that was another thing about the SHOT Show that I really, really enjoyed, was I got to talk to quite a few companies about their product that I've actually used and I wanted to see improvements on or changes on. A lot of the stuff, I shouldn't say a lot, but quite a bit of the stuff that you see at SHOT Show is actually prototype. Even though they have quite a few to show around, they're actually prototypes. So they're still in the works of fixing them, and they actually do listen to you when you come to the SHOT Show and give you about and talk to you about what would you want to do here. Now, obviously, there are a lot of people that don't shoot as much as I do or as much as you do as a competitive shooter. So when we talk to them, we really have valuable information. So don't be afraid to give constructive criticism about some of these products, because there are a lot of companies that I sat down with that I have their cards right now, and I'm talking to the designer of a product that they made on some improvements that are, or some missed opportunities in some of their products. And I will be reaching out to those companies. And here's the funny thing. I don't even care if I get a free product. I just want to be able to buy the product that I need from them. So again, it's not about me getting something for free. It's not what the whole point is. The point I can tell you right now, if I didn't get a free thing for anything that I changed in any of these companies, I'm good with it. I just can't believe that they listened to me in the first place, because it's pretty cool when you walk up to a multi-million-dollar company and little old dumbass Tom walks up and they listen to a product modification. It's really, really cool. I have a couple of things that didn't work, like a couple of products that I was going to do a review on, and they didn't fit. They didn't work for the USPSA. So I talked to one of those gentlemen today, and they're going to make a modification so that it'll work, and it's going to change PCC, guys. It's going to change your dry fire, I promise. It is an amazing thing that they came out with, and I will be hopefully getting in contact with those guys afterwards to see if they made those improvements. But when this comes out, your dry fire game is going to change, and it actually changed my opinion. Okay, it changed my opinion about using those red dot laser sight-in options when you're dry firing, where you're seeing a red dot hit the wall. But again, there's a lot of products. I have tons and tons of video. I probably did 3 or 4 different videos for a couple of different companies, not paid. I just enjoy doing it. I've got one coming out for the Genesis from Mark 7. I also have a video coming out about the brand new competition. I don't want to call it a competition trigger, but from the new trigger from Glock, and I'm going to tell you, it is a huge improvement. It is probably one of the biggest improvements that they've made in the last 40 years on their pistols. So it's going to make a Glock a much better option now, or a viable option in our sport. It's no longer going to be the trigger that's going to be the reason why that gun isn't used. You're definitely going to be able to use a Glock in competition now. It's that big of a change. And those guys over at Glock, Shane Coley and his engineers, or the engineers that work there, really did an amazing job on that trigger. And for me to say that about a Glock trigger says a lot, okay? It says a lot. And then I did a review on the steel, the Canik Rival steel frame S. It's unbelievable, okay? Unbelievable. And it's not just because it's a Canik, not just because I like it, but it is, I mean, the weight distribution, the way that thing feels, it's going to be an amazing gun in our sport. I will be very, very surprised if it doesn't take over the market very, very soon. And also, that gun is $900. Competition ready, out of the box. They give you a couple of mags, a holster. I mean, that thing comes with an entire kit. It's pretty amazing what they've given away with that thing. It's crazy. I also am going to do a little review. I had a little interview with, I think his name's Jonathan from Holosun, and I'm going to talk about the new, I think it's a 407 competition. It's 407 Comp is what the name of the site is, I believe. It's got a much bigger window, SRO footprint. I think it's going to dominate the market in USPSA for sure with the dot. Again, never had one, don't know if it's going to work. All these are just coming from what I'm finding here at SHOT Show. Definitely liked it. Had a big window. The only thing with that dot is it's tall and not as wide. So, again, but being tall, you get a much bigger picture window. It's just not as wide as some of the other optics out there. But again, it's no different than probably the regular SRO or what everybody else is using. It's just when you get into that Romeo 3XL sights, you get a much wider sight picture on that field of view. So again, that's day 2 and 3 together because they were basically the same day, or the same. They both were kind of the same. I kind of waited to see how day 3 went to see if it was different, if I needed to make 2 different videos, but I was able to put 2 and 3 together because they're the same thing. But I had a great trip. Gonna start packing up all my stuff tonight. It is 11:33 on the West Coast in Vegas. So at night, so I've got to pack all my stuff. I end up having to get up. I think we leave tomorrow at, I end up leaving around 11. So I got to get out of here by 7 or 8 to get to the airport. And man, I'm ready. I'm ready to go home. I'll tell you that. I guess I'll finish this video with this. 3 days was a lot. 3 days is all I needed at the SHOT Show. I only missed one floor. I got down to the 4th floor or the bottom floor where I wanted to go, and I only got half of it done because I stopped and talked to a bunch of people that I knew in multiple booths, and I wasn't able to finish the whole SHOT Show, but I got to basically 95% of the show, and I probably could have stayed out of the military and the tactical stuff because that's not my thing, but I wanted to go see it. I've never been there, and there's a lot of cool stuff in there. It's just not my thing. There's a lot of redundancy in those areas, a lot of armor, clothing. There's just a lot of that stuff that, but I had to go see it. I've never been, so I wanted to see it. It's really cool, and I understand that that's what they're there for. They're there for the police and those bigger contracts. They're not there for your local gun owners. So, but I hope these videos help. I've never, been to SHOT Show. Wanted to kind of give you a little insight of what SHOT Show was all about. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, hit me up in those comments, and I'll see you on the range.